The Detroit Lions have emerged as one of the most promising teams in the NFL after an impressive 2024 season. The team secured its first NFC North championship since 2023, finishing with an impressive 12-5 record. Their playoff run was a significant achievement, especially after they won their first postseason game in 30 years, defeating Matthew Stafford and the Los Angeles Rams. The Lions' defense, despite some key injuries, had shown resilience all season, and their offensive unit, led by quarterback Jared Goff, was firing on all cylinders. However, despite these successes, Detroit's playoff hopes were dashed in the NFC divisional round, where they were eliminated by the Washington Commanders in a tough matchup that exposed their defensive weaknesses. Heading into the 2025 offseason, the Lions knew they had areas to improve if they wanted to make another deep run in the playoffs and possibly contend for a Super Bowl. The team had made some strategic moves in free agency, but it was clear that more work remained to be done. The biggest hole left to fill, as the team entered the 2025 NFL Draft, was a position that had been a significant part of their success in the 2024 season: the pass rush. The Lions' defense, particularly their edge rush unit, had been a source of strength throughout the season, led by star defensive end Aiden Hutchinson. Hutchinson had emerged as one of the league's top young pass rushers, but Detroit's pass rush lacked another strong presence opposite him. To truly compete for a Super Bowl, the Lions needed to add another legitimate pass rusher to pair with Hutchinson. While some progress was made in free agency, Detroit's biggest need, an edge rusher, remained unaddressed. The team would need to act quickly to fill this gap before the 2025 NFL Draft arrived, where they could either find a player who could contribute immediately or potentially look for a trade to bring in more help. Hashtag the Lions free agency activity. The 2025 offseason saw the Lions making some noteworthy moves, but their activity was mostly focused on shoring up other areas of the roster. Perhaps the biggest splash came when they agreed to terms with cornerback DJ Reed on a 3-year, $48 million contract. Reed, a standout from the New York Jets, was a key addition to a secondary that was lacking depth and stability. The Lions had already lost starting corner Carlton Davis III, who had signed with the New England Patriots for $60 million. While Davis had been effective for Detroit in 2024, his departure left a gap that needed to be filled. Reed, known for his ability to lock down receivers in man coverage and his tenacious style of play, was a welcome addition. His signing was widely regarded as one of the best early moves of the 2025 NFL free agency period. The Lions now had a new, proven top cornerback who could help shore up the secondary, which was essential in a division that boasted potent passing offenses, particularly from rivals like the Minnesota Vikings and Green Bay Packers. In addition to Reed, the Lions bolstered their depth at multiple positions. They signed tight end Kenny Yeboah from the New York Jets, who could provide an added receiving option for Jared Goff. Yeboah's athleticism and ability to stretch the field made him an intriguing weapon for Detroit's offensive scheme. The Lions also added defensive tackle Roy Lopez, which helped reinforce the interior of their defensive line. Linebacker Grant Stewart joined from the Indianapolis Colts, adding further depth to the linebacker position. These moves were positive, but they didn't address the Lions' most pressing issue: pass rush. As the offseason progressed, the Lions found themselves in need of a game-changing pass rusher who could play alongside Aiden Hutchinson. With the release of Zadarius Smith before free agency began, Detroit's edge rush unit had become a glaring weakness. The team had made some progress with the return of Marcus Davenport, who had dealt with an injury-plagued 2024 season, but they still lacked that key second pass rusher who could consistently pressure opposing quarterbacks. Hashtag the importance of a strong pass rush for the Lions. Detroit's playoff loss to the Washington Commanders in the 2024 NFC divisional round highlighted just how critical a strong pass rush is in today's NFL. The Commanders, led by rookie quarterback Jaden Daniels, were able to exploit the Lions' defensive weaknesses, especially in terms of pressure on quarterback. Hutchinson had an impressive season, but he was often a lone bright spot on the defensive line. Without a consistent second option, opposing offenses could double-team Hutchinson, making it more difficult for him to generate consistent pressure. This issue became even more pronounced in the playoffs, where Detroit's defense struggled to contain the explosive playmaking abilities of Daniels. The loss to Washington underscored a harsh reality. The Lions needed to bolster their pass rush to compete at the highest level, particularly in the postseason. The performance of the Philadelphia Eagles during their Super Bowl run in 2024 was a perfect example of how important a dominant pass rush is to winning championships. The Eagles' defensive front, with its relentless pressure on opposing quarterbacks, played a pivotal role in their successful campaign, and the Lions would need to replicate that formula if they hope to reach the Super Bowl. Aiden Hutchinson is a budding star, but the Lions can't rely solely on his ability to carry the pass rush. The addition of another elite pass rusher would not only help Hutchinson, but also elevate the entire defensive line. The importance of this cannot be overstated. Pass rushers don't just sack quarterbacks, they affect the entire flow of the game, forcing turnovers, disrupting timing, and helping the entire defense perform at a higher level. Hashtag the draft and trade possibilities for Detroit. With the 2025 NFL Draft on the horizon, the Lions were in a prime position to address their most glaring need, an edge rusher. Several high-profile pass rushers were available in the draft, and Detroit could look to add one of these prospects to pair with Hutchinson. However, the draft class was seen as somewhat lacking in elite, immediate impact edge rushers, which could force the Lions to take a more strategic approach in finding a solution. One option for Detroit could be to explore the trade market, seeking an established pass rusher who could step in and contribute immediately. Teams with deep rosters or those looking to shed salary could be potential trade partners for Detroit. The Lions, with their newfound cap flexibility after Reed's signing and other offseason moves, could afford to make a bold trade for a proven edge rusher. This would be a risky but potentially rewarding move, as acquiring a player who has already proven himself at the NFL level could provide the Lions with the kind of pass rushing help they need to contend for a Super Bowl. The draft, of course, remains an option, and Detroit could look for an edge rusher with a high ceiling who could develop alongside Hutchinson. Names like Will Anderson Jr. and Tyree Wilson have been widely discussed as potential top pass rushers in the 2025 draft, though it was unclear whether Detroit would be able to secure one of these players. If not, the Lions could look to the later round of the draft to find a sleeper prospect with upside who could develop into a reliable pass rusher over time. Hashtag looking ahead. The Detroit Lions are in a rare position. They have a legitimate shot at winning the Super Bowl in the next few years. With a strong offense led by Jared Goff and a defense that, despite its flaws, has the potential to be elite with the right additions, the team is ready to make a run. However, to truly compete for the top spot in the NFC, the Lions need to address their pass rush issues. Aiden Hutchinson cannot do alone, and the Lions must find a running mate for him to make their defense formidable. As free agency continues to unfold and the draft approaches, it is clear that Detroit has made significant strides in strengthening their roster. But their biggest test still lies ahead, finding the right pass rusher to complement Hutchinson. Whether through the draft, a trade, or further free agent signings, the Lions' ability to solidify their edge rush will determine their chances of success in 2025 and beyond.